spray so sad to the field French hillside as you walk this land.
Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to the first ever Ninebarrow Wandering Minstrels show.
Show type thing. Yay.
With its own title sequence.
And theme tune.
Did you like that? We've always wanted a theme tune.
And now we've got one.
And now we've got one.
Yeah, so if you, like us, firstly, thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, if you, like us, are wondering what on earth we're playing at the moment.
What crazy scheme have the boys come up with now?
Yeah, allow us to kind of explain the theory behind tonight's show.
Yeah, I mean, the theory is that we just love the community that has grown over the last 9 months out of our online shows is just brilliant. We so look forward to spending this time with you, and the opportunities for that were getting a little bit more strung out, I think.
Yes, I think the more involved and complicated our concert ideas were getting, the more time we were having to spend putting all these shows together, and hence the longer it was in between concerts. I think it's sort of 10 weeks now, is it, in between concerts at the moment? I mean, sorry guys.
When we started, it was April, May, June, July, and August. Mm-hmm. But yes, as they've got more complicated, we can't really maintain that level of output in terms of concerts.
So we wanted to kind of have something else to sort of have some time together with you guys that wasn't quite so complicated for us to put together, and ended up creating something that's even more complicated to put together.
It's amazing when you sat down with a cup of coffee and a biscuit saying, I think
what about this?
What about this? You think, yes, we'll put that together in about 2 days. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, it's taken a little longer, but we really think you're going to like it. But yes, I mean, if you're sat there thinking, what on earth am I going to spend the next 60 minutes of my life doing? 60 minutes-ish.
Ish.
And we say that because
we still don't know how long it's actually going to be.
It depends how much we waffle, to be honest, as to how long the show's going to be. Well, we're going to immerse you in the sights and the sounds of the outdoors.
Yes, we're going to get you outside. We'll take you on a walk around Dorset. We will let you know all the sort of stories and the folklore behind the bits that you're seeing.
Yes, and we'll share some songs with you because
it's a Ninebarrow concert.
It's a Ninebarrow concert. Well, it's a Ninebarrow show.
Yeah.
And it would be wrong, really, not to have some live music, and that will be coming from the outdoors.
And it won't just be us speaking the entire time either. We're going to introduce
just
you
in case you were worried about that. There's going to be some variety.
A couple of other people who interest us personally, and we think that you might be interested in as well.
Yes.
So yeah,
and we're going to be using these shows as a vehicle for some exciting announcements as well, of which we have one coming up later in the show. Mm-hmm. So in the interests of full disclosure, we did advertise that these sections at the studio, everybody.
This is our studio. The dining room is the
It is
studio.
also our dining room, and it's also our bookcase, but today it is the studio.
Is it Studio 1 or Studio 2 dining room? Studio 2.
I think should we call it Studio 2?
Yeah.
I think that sounds better. Mm-hmm. It's like there's another one somewhere else. It's over there. It's the
serious sofa.
The serious sofa. Yes,
is stage 1.
Oh dear, I've lost my thread completely now.
What are we doing? We're talking about we were going
full
to
disclosure. Full disclosure. Yes, we were going to be shooting this live, as in coming to you live from the studio, but it turns out that there's a slight problem with the broadband in our local area.
It's creaking at the seams, basically. We've been speaking to some techie people who say that this area was kind of made 40 years ago with all the techie stuff, and it's creaking at the seams and needs an overhaul.
Yeah, so we didn't want to risk going offline, and we felt there was a risk that the transmission might be a bit juddery, and that
and freeze on our faces going, or something like that, which
frankly none of us want. It's not a good look.
No.
So it's pre-recorded, but the benefit of that is that we will be able to lurk in the comments. Mm-hmm. So let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know the bits of the show that were your favourite, bits that you hated and you would rather not see again. That would also be good stuff to hear. Mm-hmm. But without further ado, let's see what we've got coming up in this evening's show. We take you to the Mediterranean. Oh, no, sorry, I mean Swanage. It just looks like the Mediterranean.
And we'll sing you some songs along the way.
We'll be sharing a sneaky peek at a song from the upcoming Ninebarrow Band concert in December.
Back in the studio, we revealed the artwork for the new album and talked to its creator, John's sister Sarah.
We'll bring you a song from the Ninebarrow Gig Archive.
And we'll be introducing our first ever Wandering Minstrels mixtape playlist, an hour or so of our favourite music for you to take away and listen to at your leisure. So, without further ado, let's head on over to Swanage. Hello there, thanks for joining us on this little ramble.
Yes, on a cold, pretty blustery November morning.
But it's still beautiful. We are standing here at the tip of Peveril Point at the southern end of Swanage Bay in Dorset's beautiful Isle of Purbeck.
Now, when we say isle, it's not really an island at all.
No, well, it's got the sea on 3 of its 4 sides. It's got Poole Harbour to the north, an embarrassment of beautiful bays to the east. We've got Swanage Bay, Dalston Bay, Studland Bay, and the expanse of the English Channel to the south.
Now, Swanage is the largest of Purbeck's 2 towns. It wasn't until the 19th century when the arrival of the steam railway transformed it from a small fishing town into the bustling seaside resort we know and love today.
Exactly, we can see Swanage over this way, and over Swanage Bay you can see Ballard Down as it peters over to Ballard Point and ends at Old Harry Rocks.
But we're not going in that direction, because we're going in that direction to the south, and then in that direction to the west as we join the appropriately named Southwest Coast Path.
And we better get going because the days aren't quite as long as they used to be. Shall we go?
Let's get on with it.
Passing clouds, thin veil unbroken, drifting on the ocean, beneath the standing stone. Fleeting day unravels, unfolds. The sun reveals with gold a fortress overthrown. Enchanted hill fort, mound and tower.
So here we are on the Isle of Wight Road, which isn't really a road. It doesn't lead to the Isle of Wight either, but
false advertising on so
little
many
bit.
levels, I think. It is, however, lined with these beautiful dry stone walls, or at least they're mostly dry stone
they're
walls.
dryish. They've got a little bit of mortar holding bits
A little
together.
bit of mortar
but,
at the top. But we think it's the Dalston volunteers that have worked on these, and you see them kind of building different sections of it. It's a beautiful stretch of the Southwest Coast Path. With very little effort, you suddenly arrive and you feel so high up with these incredible views out over Dalston Bay. There's something almost like Mediterranean about it, to be honest. That's how I feel.
Perhaps a bit more in the summer, it's a bit more Mediterranean. Maybe not in the middle of November. But,
Yeah, okay. The fleece and like triple layers is perhaps not Mediterranean in that sense. But we're going to continue along the Isle of Wight Road towards Dalston Castle and Dalston's Great Globe.
You who wander, you safe paths guide you from your home to the can-crowned mountains, to the spray-soaked sand, to the field-fringed hillside as you walk this land. Climbing stile and hedgerow, fair wind at your back.
We're sat here next to Swanage's famous Great Globe, and it's nestled just at the top of the cliffs below Durlston Castle, which you can see above us.
Just before we tell you more about the history of these two objects, it might be worth telling you a little bit about what these two are made of, which is limestone.
Now, the Isle of Purbeck is famous for its limestone. This Purbeck stone has been prized by builders and masons alike over the centuries, and it's sometimes known as Purbeck marble because of just how well it can be polished.
And over the centuries, it's had a pretty illustrious history, having been used in many of the grandest buildings in the country, including none other than St Paul's Cathedral.
Indeed. Now, both Durlston Castle and the Great Globe we're sat next to came about due to the wealth and eccentricities of an eminent member of Swanage's Victorian community, a guy called George Burt.
He and his uncle, John Molam, specialised in stonemasonry and building, and their firm, Molam, was supplied with limestone from the quarries on the Durlston estate, which was bought by Burt in 1862.
Now, Durlston Castle is actually a folly that was commissioned by Burt, and it was built entirely of local stone. And whilst it is called a castle, it was actually only ever used as a restaurant for his visitors to the Durlston estate.
I think Durlston Castle's got a better ring to it than Durlston Restaurant.
But George Burt's also responsible for this 40-ton beast behind us. It's one of the largest stone spheres in the world.
It's 3 metres in diameter, and it's made completely of local limestone through and through, and was built in Greenwich and then brought to Swanage by sea in 15 different segments.
Now, when Jay says the word segment, I can only think of a chocolate orange, and I can't help but think Swanage might be even more famous if George Burt had erected a chocolate orange instead of this. But hey, we're talking about limestone, so let's stick to that.
Okay, thanks for that insight, John. So yeah,
I'm full of insight.
Yeah, I think we've probably got a little bit more to thank George Burt for than chocolate orange.
We have. He might have been eccentric, but he was a real philanthropist. And in actual fact, he was instrumental in bringing mains water and mains gas to Swanage as well. So not just an eccentric man who built things out of limestone.
Shall we move on?
I think we should. So we were going to head down the coast and give you a song from a little further down.
We realised it was getting a little bit blustery, and now it started to rain.
Can you believe it? It started so beautiful.
I can believe it, actually. This is kind of what happens when we try and film anything.
So look, we are going to give you a song from here in the rain, next to the globe. Something seafaring related. Seems kind of appropriate given where we are. So we're going to sing you Silent Prayer, which is about, sailing the globe and hoping you're going to get to return to the one that you love. Bloody hell. You can't do this.
No.
I actually don't believe it. I actually don't believe it. That's not quite what I wanted. So we're going to sing you Silent Prayer, which is about sailing the globe and hoping that you're going to return in one piece, which is kind of how I feel. Less about me, more about the equipment that we've got here. I'm kind of hoping that's going to make it home in one piece today. So.
I will return brave and bold, bringing stories and gold. And I will build you that home from good hardwood and stone. This dipping prow, small hover house on these wretched waves, and with sloping moss we're driven fast through bitter rain. Silent prayer, and I will buy you a gown stitched with flowers around. And I will ask for your hand in the chapel will stand. But this dipping prow, small hover house on these wretched waves, and with sloping mast we're driven fast through bitter air. In silent prayer, and in the forests cool shade will walk up to that glade, to that tree that you love, green and silver above. With this dipping prow, small hover house on these wretched waves, and with sloping mast we're driven fast through bitter air. In silent prayer.
Thank you. We've got a small audience, just in case you hadn't realised. Nice to have an audience, to be honest. I think you're our first audience in around about 9 months. So there you go, live audience, live audience. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
mine. It's mine. We did think about we'd cut back to us nibbling on it.
I like that idea. That was a good idea as far as I'm concerned.
But then we decided, we had a meeting, and we decided, I was chairing the meeting, by the way, we decided that wouldn't be a good idea because all you would hear is the noise as we ate chocolate orange.
I personally wouldn't mind about that. But the thing is, I do follow my
votes.
heart and my stomach. And
there were votes for, there were votes against, and the chair had the deciding vote, and here we are, everybody. There we are.
We're going to have that later. But hey-ho, moving on, we'll bring you the rest of that walk later on in the show.
Yes.
With another live performance.
A little further down the coast,
Yes.
and a little less precipitation challenged. Is that? I don't even know if that's a phrase. Precipitation.
Well, you've made it a phrase now.
Okay, there's not going to be any rain in the next one. There you go. It's going to be a little bit easier.
So, what's next?
Coming up next, well, we said you weren't going to have to just listen to our voices for the course of these shows, and we weren't lying because we've got an interview coming up next with none other than Sarah Whitley, the genius, the artistic genius behind all of the beautiful pieces of artwork that that have been created for our album.
And I do believe this particular point now represents the launch of the artwork. I don't think anybody's actually seen it. No.
There was I put one Facebook post out with it in the background, but I blurred it out so nobody could see it. So nobody's seen this yet. It's a worldwide exclusive, everybody. Premiere. It's a worldwide exclusive. So we're going to be talking to Sarah about how she goes about creating this artwork. And but first of all, let's have a little bit of a look at the artwork itself.
The pine trees grow in tidy rows, all trained towards the distant sky. And in a blink, they're tall enough for man's needs to supply. But soft, swift flesh it cannot last, so brisk and nimble was the climb. And quickly as a mood or thought, the tender wood is lost to time. And I have a pocket full of acorns. I hold the mighty oak tree in my hands, and with every seed I sow, the future of these lands. When the robin's young is fleshed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going? This is a very strange experience, to be perfectly honest.
Be filming a conversation with you.
The BBC make this look easy day in, day out, but it's not as easy as it looks, actually. So how are our nephews, first of all?
Oh, they're very well. They're a little tired, but they're happy to be back at school after lockdown. And so are we.
And I was going to ask how they fared with the with the pandemic and being cooped up indoors a lot of the time.
Well, we were lucky that the first lockdown over the summer, we've got a lot of outside space, so actually they weren't cooped up indoors that much at all. They were running wild, and every now and again we'd try and pin them down to do some homeschooling, but with various degrees of success.
I think possibly with the rest of the parenting population of the world.
Yes.
So while you were doing all of that then, looking after the kids and homeschooling and trying to keep everything going, you were doing an amazing job at making our artwork for the new album, which we are premiering tonight. So
everybody has just seen it for the first time, yes, we're absolutely thrilled with it.
Totally.
Well, it's always a real relief when you are, because I send it off and I'm never quite sure what's going to happen. But yeah, it's always a real miracle to me that you seem quite happy with what I do. So, I'm glad.
And we're always amazed that you seem to be so surprised when we're happy with it. We just like always bowled over with it. And I suppose, yeah, just I think this is a kind of conversation that we've always wanted to have with you anyway. So we kind of film it.
We're just going to be having it with a few hundred other people at the same time.
I'll try not to think about that.
When did you first realise that you had a talent for painting? Or have you realised? Maybe you haven't realised yet.
I'm not actually sure that day has arrived, but I always enjoyed art. I did a lot of drawing when I was younger, and I suppose I realised I could draw things. I like to draw people, and I noticed that they did actually look quite like the person, which was quite nice.
Well, Picasso didn't care. So.
That's true.
Didn't stop him.
I just always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed being crafty and creative, and but I don't actually do a lot of painting, which is why every time I come to the Ninebarrow art, I think, God, I wish I did more painting between these commissions, and because I thoroughly enjoy it, and I wish I fitted more into my life, but yeah, it's an ongoing ambition.
Yeah, but I mean, your style that you've created over the last few years, really. I mean, I've always considered it to be a really kind of unique kind of style with all your really thin lines and your overlapping, translucent sort of blocks of colour. I think it's a fantastic style. But who sort of has been your inspiration with that? And which artists inspire you in your style?
Good question. I really like quite simple art. I've always really liked Japanese woodblock prints. There's an artist called Rei Morimura, I think his name is, who does some really brilliant sort of contemporary woodblock prints. Whenever I'm doing Ninebarrow art, I like looking at art that has a sense of place, a real sort of sense of the outdoors. And there's a couple of people that I like. One is a chap called Phil Greenwood, who is actually an etcher and does a lot of sort of tree art. Who else do I like? There's an artist called Dee Nickerson who does some quite simple, stylized outdoor scenes, which I also really enjoy. And I love children's art. So I don't know if you know Errol LeCaine and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right actually, and Kay Nielsen, who do they quite often illustrate fairy tale stuff. It's very fantastical and stylized. Yeah, I like stylized stuff.
It's a really, really distinctive style, and I think lots of people in the old days where we could go out and actually do gigs and stuff in the outdoor world. I mean, at the end of every gig, people would always comment on the artwork and just how distinctive it is. Totally. So I think there's a lot of people that like the style that you've come up with. I mean, how did you go about coming up with this particular design for the new album?
Well, I always start with you normally give me a title of a song which you're going to sort of is going to be the title of the album, and I try and sort of pin it down to that theme. And this one kind of came together quite nicely because Ben and I got married last year, and I'd wanted to get a tattoo, and the tattoo that I had arrived at that I was going to get done was a symbol that I really like called the Web of Weird, and it's the symbol at the centre of the front cover of the CD, the interlocking lines. It's from Norse mythology. So there were three sisters, the Norns, who are said to weave our fates, and one represents what has become, one represents what is becoming, and the other represents what shall be. And I kind of like this idea in a psychological sense as well. You know, the idea that we are a product of our past, and our past is connected to our future. And And I'm also a little bit obsessed with mushrooms, not the magic kind, which might seem a bit tangential, but the idea that this mycelial network exists underneath the forest, underneath the trees, connecting everything. And it felt like these two ideas kind of came together quite nicely for this piece. So it's the idea that underneath the woodland, there's a mycelial network of mushroom that connects trees to each other and helps distribute nutrients and that sort of thing. And I've been thinking a lot about the human race and the fact that we are cutting down a lot of trees across the planet and what that might mean for our future. So it's a bit of a comment on the actions that humans take that might lead to our demise.
There seems to be a contrast between the front cover and the back cover. Is that kind of linked to that idea?
Yes, so it's meant to be the passage of time. So the front cover is your chap with his pocket full of acorns, the product of that. And then the future, humans having sort of destroyed those trees and, fallen to their doom. But that actually there's...
two possible visions, isn't it, of the future?
Exactly. But the idea that actually underneath the soil, there's this network that connects that past, that pocket full of acorns, to a future beyond potentially human demise where the world will recover. And even if we're gone, it'll probably be all right without us.
It's so great. I mean, I was talking to our mum yesterday, and she was quite emotional when talking because she'd seen the artwork for the first time really up close, and she was feeling quite emotional about looking at it and the fact that all of that kind of story interwoven through the medium of oil on a canvas. It's quite incredible for people to react in that way, but I think it's that's how I feel as well, really. It's amazing how you tell the story through the paint. I just think it's brilliant.
Oh, I'm really glad you like it. It's acrylic, actually. Acrylic on cotton, to be exact.
Acrylic on cotton rather than oil on canvas.
Pardon our ignorance. Yeah.
Oil on canvas sounds a little bit more marketable, though, Sarah.
That makes me sound like a real artist.
Oh, yeah.
Acrylic on old bedsheet doesn't quite have the same ring about it, does it?
It's very sustainable.
So how long, when you set about getting these pieces down onto your old bed sheets, how long does it take you to do it from start to finish?
Well, I mean, as you probably know, as it's been a bit nail-biting towards the end of some of my commissions, it takes me quite a long time. But a lot of that is sort of thinking time. So I do quite a lot of sketching for the first few weeks, potentially months. And then from the point at which I'm putting paint onto cotton, it probably, if I work pretty much solidly, it'll take me about a week to 2 weeks. When I say solidly, it's not, from dawn until the next dawn, although that has happened. So yeah, I would say if I'm working really hard at it, probably I could get it done in about a week.
And what do you do when you're when you're painting? What have you got in the background? What are you have you got other entertainment happening at the same time, or are you just focusing completely solidly on?
Well, I do I listen to a lot of music. This time I sometimes stick something on the laptop while I'm working that I can kind of pay half an eye to. So I watched a documentary on Nina Simone while I was doing this one. The last album, I actually ended up ploughing through a load of Peaky Blinders, which is probably not what I should say. It's probably why it took me a lot longer than it should have.
Oh, wow, you've totally broken the spell now.
I know. A real artist wouldn't do that.
We managed about the first 3 episodes of Peaky Blinders, but
Yeah, it's a bit dark for me.
we found that we needed a little bit more escapism, and it was frankly just a little bit too real for us.
It's quite real.
So I think we've just got one more question for you before we round this up. You've painted 6 pieces for Ninebarrow now, and at least 2 for Dad, I think. At least 2 for Dad. It might be 3 actually. And I think the the question that might be at the forefront of many people's minds as they watch this is, do you do commissions?
Well, I've done things for friends. I've never done any sort of paid commissions.
Why not?
Well, I'm quite busy.
This is not your job. If people have not realised this, you do not do this for a living. You actually,
I don't.
You actually have a day job. Yeah,
I do, and but I would like to get into doing more art. I feel, well, frankly, I feel like a little bit of a fraud. And I was recently asked by someone quite well known if I might consider doing a commission, and it was a bit of a shock. But it did make me think that maybe I should be picking up my brushes a little bit more often. So I would never say no, but anyone who should want a commission should bear in mind that I take quite a long time to do them.
all good art is worth waiting for. I mean, goodness only knows, everybody's been waiting for this album for a heck of a long time. So.
But yeah, thank you so much for that, Sarah. It's been so amazing to have that chat with you, and really amazing just to hear how you go about your process. So
it is. It's been really fascinating because, to be perfectly honest, these things arrive in the post, and we have really no idea about the process behind it. So we found it thoroughly fascinating, and hopefully the people watching will have as well. You take care, and
love to Ben and the boys.
Yes,
Thank
give our
you.
love to your brood, and we'll look forward to seeing you at sometime soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we look forward to coming up and sharing a few bottles of the good stuff with you in the summer, maybe.
Oh, that sounds so long away.
I know.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Lots of love to you all.
Take care.
See you soon.
See you
Bye.
then.
That was lovely.
Oh, so good to speak to you, Sarah.
So good to speak, and yes, lots of love to the boys. Hope they're all doing well at the moment. Big Ben, medium-sized Dylan, and
Not so little Leo.
not so little Leo. Actually, they
He's
grow
getting very tall.
at frightening speed. So, coming up next, we've had a lot of you, contact us and say, when will you be making your previous online concerts available?
Not if. When are you going to be doing it?
And the good news is it is when and not if. We've been working hard behind the scenes to build a platform that's going to allow us to get those out to people that want to experience all of our mistakes that we made in those again and again and again. And it's an exciting process because we are only able to broadcast those live shows at a fraction of the quality that they were filmed at. I mean, if you like, the church show was filmed in 4K, but it was actually broadcast at a quarter of that. So we're remastering all of those videos so that people will be able to access them in perpetuity. And we're hoping, our fingers crossed, we're going to have that platform up and running, at least with some of those concerts, before Christmas. That is the plan.
Yeah, as with everything that we try and take on, we think it's going to take X amount of time, and we need to multiply that by a factor of however long. So
A factor of a lot.
a factor of a lot. Yeah.
So we're going to share with you a snippet from one of those historic concerts now.
So this is Nestle Down that we sang in our Live from the Great Outdoors concert earlier in the year. What's Nestle Down about, John?
I love that.
He wants me to introduce
That in the
it,
business is
and
what's called a hospital pass, everybody. So it is a song about the Dartford warbler. It's going to be on the new album as well. But it's the Dartford warbler is this bird that suffers through everything that the UK throws at it through the seasons because it doesn't migrate. And so as the days get shorter, it has to comb underneath the gorse to find sustenance, and it's had a difficult history, the Dartford warbler. But the reason we wanted to share this song today is because we feel that the Dartford warbler is a real kindred spirit. We live on the edge of a piece of heathland that the Dartford warbler inhabits, and as it suffers through the autumn and the winter, I have to be honest, we feel quite similar. And I have to say, particularly this year, I don't know if anyone else suffers from seasonal affective disorder. We
Get some of these days where just nothing feels good at all, has it?
it's everything is so dark and it's grey, and I think the fact that we're, everybody's stuck inside a lot more at the moment. We felt that this was, a really appropriate song to share with you. So here's Nestle Down.
Gathering clouds hang low, cold as the shadows grow. Look with your red ringed eyes, the others take to the skies. There's mist in the air above, so nestle down deep, my love. We'll wait while the nights grow long, here where we both belong. Pale twinkling frost gleams white, lit by the cold sun's light. Deep through the gorse we'll go, warm in our heathland home. There's snow in the air above, so nestle down deep, my love. We'll wait while the nights grow long, here where we both belong. Sweet yellow flowers in bloom hung on the dark green room. Hides our jewels out of sight, pale, smooth and glossy white. There's warmth in the air above, so nestle down deep, my love. We'll wait while the days grow long, here where we both belong. Songs through the hot day's light, fledglings in roaring flight, low across sun-baked sands, sprites of this humble land.
Memories of summer. Oh, it's so lovely looking back on that, but it really makes you pine for the longer days.
Roll on summer.
Roll on summer, indeed.
We'll
mate.
get there.
We will. What do you think of that concert? Would you like to see another one like in the same style? Not the same footage, not the same gig, but we've got lots of plans for next year because there's obviously a lot of uncertainty as to when the arts world will be able to get back to full on. Packing out the venues, gigging. So we have a lot of online plans for next year as well. Be lovely to know if you'd like to see us do something like that again in the future. So let us know. Let us know
in your comments.
Yes.
Let us know. But so if you cast your minds back 20 minutes or so, you'll remember that we left John and Jay wandering the southwest coast path,
Somewhere on the southwest coast path.
So we'd better pick up again and just make sure they got home okay, right?
Well, we're here.
We're here.
We're here. They probably
Spoiler
did.
alert.
Spoiler
we got
alert.
home.
We got home. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Roll the tape.
Welcome back, everybody. We're a little bit further down the coast now, so the sun is out. We're determined it's going to stay out for the rest of the walk. The wind is picking up a little bit, it's fair to say. My hair is only going to get more tousled as the walk goes on. But,
And I can see the camera shaking in the wind as well. So but it isn't raining, and that's the main thing. We're here at Tillywim Caves.
what a name. Love Tillywim Caves.
It's an amazing name. And this is one of the many quarries that is on the Delston estate and would have been owned by George Burt. Named Tilly after someone who used to quarry there, that was his surname. But Wim is the name of the old wooden cranes they used to use in the quarries here. He opened it after it had run out of limestone, presumably. He opened it as a tourist attraction. But it became very dangerous.
As you can see by these signs here.
Extremely dangerous area, keep out. People have been killed going in here.
So we won't bother.
So we won't bother. We're
Keep
going
up above the ground.
to head further up the coast. We're going to head to Anvil Point and to the Anvil Point Lighthouse. So we're a little bit further up the coast at Anvil Point. The lighthouse is just up there. And we are now going to need to hightail it down the coast because the sun is starting to set.
It's taken a bit longer than we had originally planned to put this bit of a show together. So
However long you think it's going to take to film anything,
triple it.
triple it. That's the lesson we should have learned. It's the lesson we haven't learned. So we're going to be shooting right up until sunset. But we're now going to head down the coast to Dancing Ledge, and we'll share some footage along the way.
You scramble, you stroll at the outdoors in to feed your soul with a glint of winter and the promise of spring. Bright swallows in summer and the auburn autumn rain.
So we have a minor problem. Well, a major problem,
Yeah.
truth be told.
We had been planning on singing you a lovely song right down on Dancing Ledge, right on the edge of the water, but
It's really, really windy. And it suddenly got very, very black.
and remembering what happened at the Globe when the heavens opened just as we played our first note, we think
So like two good wandering minstrels, we've actually spotted a little dell next to a dry stone wall beneath a windswept hawthorn tree,
if you could follow us.
and we're gonna go and sing. We're gonna go and sing in here. And here's what we found. It could be a cattle latrine. We don't know, to be honest, but we think it's the perfect spot for a sing song. So we'll get set up and give you a tune in a moment.
Now, we love the changing of the seasons and we love the autumn and the winter, but
We do.
to be honest, the shorter days can take a hike at the moment. They are...
I think we've just got to that point where the days are now getting so short. I mean, sunset today, is it 18 minutes past 4, is it? And yeah, we better get a move on actually. But yeah, we're both feeling a bit blue, a bit seasonal affective disorder. So we're going to sing you Weave Her a Garland, because we think that's just about the cheeriest song. It's the cheeriest song we know.
Looking forward to spring and
Yeah.
the longer days.
Absolutely.
So,
All right, so here we go. Weave Her a Garland.
Sweet are the flowers that grow by the fountain. How sweet are the cowslips that spangle the grove. Oh, sweet is the breeze that blows over the mountains, but none are so sweet as the charms of my love. Now weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden of roses and lilies and daffodils. Oh, weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden, a garland I'll give to all I adore. The blackbirds and thrushes, they rise in the morning. How softly they play their sweet notes by the grove. Although it is pleasing, delightful and charming to ease the fond sighs of the one that I love. Now weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden of roses and lilies and daffodils. Weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden, a garland I'll give to all I adore. My sweetheart was walking, how happy I'd be to stand by her again. If she should prove false, give her heart to another. For me to some pleasure it would be in vain. Now weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden of roses and lilies and daffodils. Weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden, a garland I'll give to the one I adore. Weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden of roses and lilies and daffodils. Weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden, a garland I'll give to the one I adore.
Weave her a garland. Oh, it felt lovely to sing that outside, underneath our little windswept hawthorn tree. So,
we'd better get cracking, otherwise we shall be benighted, and that's no fun for
we're
anyone.
still going to try and get to Dancing Ledge if we can do it before sunset. Let's do it.
So, we've finally reached our destination at a very, very blustery Dancing Ledge.
4 miles down the coast from where we started.
Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you might have realised that it's taken us from sunrise to sunset to walk 4 miles. That's a bit slower than our average pace, really. But
Such are the challenges of bringing you video from inclement environments. like
you
this.
guys are worth it, though.
We really hope you enjoyed it. Dancing Ledge is another piece of Purbeck quarrying history. We're actually stood in the old quarry here, and they used to load the stones off the edge of the cliffs and into the waiting boats down here. And it really is a remarkable place to come and be, particularly when nobody else is stupid enough to be here at this point in the evening.
And by the way, don't worry about us. We're quite away from the edge of the cliff, so we're not going to go anywhere. But
So look, we are going to wend our way back to Swanage.
it's going to be, pretty much night time by the time we get back, I think. But we'll get there. We know our way.
But we're going to introduce to you now, as we work our way back, we're going to leave you with a song that, that isn't ours, actually. Because this month we are introducing something called the Ninebarrow Wandering Minstrels mixtape.
That's right, to bridge the gap in between our concerts, which are now a couple of months apart. We thought we'd give you a little bit of an insight into the sort of music that we love, that inspires us, and that just makes us happy.
So we've created a playlist and it exists on Spotify, and the other John and Jay will tell you all about how you can access it. But essentially this month we picked, as Jay says, songs that were inspirational to us when we were quite a lot younger. And we're going to leave you with a song called Song for Ireland, sung by the wonderful Dick Gaughan. I know we're not in Ireland, we're on the coast of England, but actually this particular piece of Jurassic coast feels pretty dramatic to us, and we thought it might pair quite nicely with the Atlantic coast that Dick Gaughan sings about in this song. So we're going to head home, and we'll leave you with this.
See you later.
Walking all the day by tall towers where falcons build their nests, silver winged they fly. They know the call of freedom in their breasts. I saw black hands against the sky with twisted rocks that run to the sea. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland. Talking all the day with true friends who try to make you stay, telling jokes and news and singing songs to pass the time away. We watch the Galway salmon run like silver darting, dancing in the sun. Living on your western shore, saw summer sunsets, asked for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland. Drinking all the day in old pubs where fiddlers love to play. Someone touched the bow and he played a reel which seemed
so grand and gay. We stood on Dingle Beach and cast in wild foam. We found Atlantic bass living on your western shore. Saw summer sunsets, asked for more. Stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for Ireland.
Oh, that was a grand day out.
It was a grand and long.
A long day out.
What you didn't see was that actually between the Anvil Point Lighthouse and Dancing Ledge, there's about a 2-mile stretch that we actually had to run with all of the equipment, with the people of Purbeck looking on, thinking, what the heck have these guys been taking?
Us running with backpacks, lights,
three
microphones.
tripods. Yeah, so
It was fun.
It was, but the walk back in the dark was also quite liberating as well.
Yeah, why just walk in the daytime when you can walk at night? It was,
I'm not entirely sure I would advise it, to be honest, but all in the interest of bringing you something a little bit different.
We hope you thought that was worth it.
Yeah. Would you like to see more of these shows? I mean, let us know in the comments if you've
We've
enjoyed
got to do
it.
every time we say mention the comments, typing on your computer.
So the playlist, as the other John called it, the mixtape. You've probably already seen it's actually over at the Minstrels web page. Over at our website, and that will be available indefinitely. Both this show and the playlist itself won't be disappearing like the concerts do. But if you want to listen to this selection, this hour of music that we've put together for you, you just need to sign up for a Spotify account. It's free to do that. You'll have to endure a few adverts with the free account, but it's a price worth paying to get to go and discover some new music.
This is it. Spotify, it's a bit of a double-edged sword for musicians. I mean, it's brilliant for people to go and discover new music. It's absolutely fantastic. But financially for the artists,
It's not so great. The 0.001 of a penny per stream. I'm not sure how many zeros there are in there, but it's quite a lot.
It's not a lot. Won't buy many chocolate oranges, put it that way.
But I mean, artists choose to be on it because once people discover you through that, the hope is that they will go and then come to a concert in the future maybe, or buy a CD. So go and check out their website, see if they're in the post-pandemic. Hopefully they may be touring in your area or something like that. So we're nearly at the end of the show. Before we do, we want to let you know that we're obviously not... We're not setting up e-tickets for these shows. We wanted to make them more widely accessible. And frankly, we weren't sure what it was going to be like either. If you've enjoyed it and you want to, we've set up a donate button over at the Minstrels webpage. No matter how small those donations are, they're incredibly
always gratefully received.
And they'll all go into the production costs of hopefully doing more of these.
Bringing some more with any other new ideas that we have in the future. But on that page as well, there's a Christmas shop there. I'm sorry I said the C word. But there's also a little shop of all the goodies that you can get if you need some ideas for Christmas.
Yeah, we've had some exciting additions to that. I mean, obviously there's all the normal stuff like CDs and books, but we've just opened a picture frame shop over there as well. We've had quite a few people request getting their hands on some of Jay's photography, and we've decided Jay has a history. His formative years.
Yes, my Saturday job, basically. It was at a picture shop called Celestial Skies. Had amazing photos of pretty much of Dorset as well.
Yeah.
But overnight it was kind of from dusk until dawn. But yeah, a lot of my Saturdays were spent putting those pictures in frames and getting them well presented.
Jay has the skills, and there's actually a pile of frames just outside of this shop, because straight after this, Jay's going to be cracking on with making up some orders for people who've already got them in. But yes, if you're looking for an interesting Christmas gift, we've got plenty of stuff up there for you.
We certainly do. So I think we're going to round off tonight's show.
Goodness only knows how long this show's been. I have no idea.
But we're going to round it off with a little sneaky peek of next month's concert. We might have mentioned that next month we're doing
2 weeks.
the band show.
Less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. We feel like we've been building up to this for an entire year.
This is kind of the grand finale, the crowning monument of our online concerts for 2020. Thank you for that.
I really should have turned my watch off before.
He told me to do it. He
Siri
told me to
can't
turn
help
my
me.
watch
He
off.
can't help me with my problems. They are far more deep set than Siri can help me with. So sorry, before we were rudely interrupted. We're going to share with you a little snippet of the band show, which is going out on the 12th of December with another live Q&A from us here at Ninebarrow HQ, and we really hope you'll join us for it. So thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you soon.
Some walk miles to seek me out, to take away their ills, their pain. But now they walk to gallows to see me hanging in wind and rain. That woman with the bright blue eyes, hate and fear upon her face. I helped her birth her only son. She clutches now in fierce embrace. Take her to the gallows hill, the modern rain and evening chill. Fold the rope, double bite, 13 turns, now make it tight. Walk up barefoot up the track, below a storm cloud swelling black. Fold the rope, double bite, 13 turns, now make it tight. 3, 4. Unruly air, last month the fever gripped him tight. The willow bark I offered kept him safe and saw him through the night. Take her to the gallows hill, the modern rain and evening chill. Fold a rope with double bite, 13 turns, now make it tight. Walk up barefoot up the track, below the storm cloud swelling black. Fold a rope with double bite, 13 turns, now make it tight. Visited in early spring. You'd aching limbs with snowdrops dry, but